This is the URT. You are the URT. Big up the URT. Smash a like for the URT. Subscribe to the URT. URI. We beat Liverpool home and away for the first time in a decade. The problem is that, well, the big question is, can we finish above them for the first time in a decade? Can we do it, people? Big up to everybody. Please smash the like. Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Big up my like Jamie Wayne, Police Ramadine Lassie. Big up to all of you lot. Big up to the people. Big up the people. Big up the people. Big up to the people. How we doing, people? How we doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Please let me know. Love. Liverpool can kiss our ass this season. 2-2, baby. Woo woo. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. First half, good football, man. First half, yeah. First half, it should have been 3-0. We should have gone in with 3-0 in that first half. And then we gave them 2 goals from 2 errors. 2 errors. Yeah, big up, people. You can hear me loud and clear, man. Listen, I've been at a festival. We were hosting a stage at a festival. And I've just come from there right now. So I caught bits of the game here and there. But yeah, saw the goals. I'm so happy for Kobbie Mainoo. King Kobbie, mate. King Kobbie Mainoo. Big up to King Kobbie Mainoo, mate. What a winner. What an absolute winner, mate. What a winner. He always does it against Liverpool, man. He scores them left foot, people. Was that a left foot or a right foot? I need to see that goal again. But yeah, big up, people. Please smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Big up to everybody coming. Big up my like Nash. Some United fans just love pain and suffering. If you want pain and suffering, go and support Morecambe FC. We did a double over for the first time in 10 years. And listen, there are people who will have to absolutely break down the game. I thought the second half was worrying. But is it worrying because we don't have the subs, we don't have the squad, we don't have the midfield to cope with that? We gave them two errored goals. You know, both of them came. Yeah, Lenny Salmons should better. That's his first error in a Manchester United shirt. His first error in a Manchester United shirt, Lenny Salmons. He should have got rid of that, man. He should have got rid of that. But we'll take it, man. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to take it. It's not like not every year we beat Liverpool twice. Yeah, I'm good, but there was some ugly as well. I'm not going to lie. There was some good and there was some ugly in terms of the performance. But this team's been just getting the results, so I can't really argue that in the big games, they got the results. You know, in the big games, they got the results. So we cannot argue against that, people. I am not going to argue against that. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to argue against that. So I'm happy for them. Happy for them. Yeah, 3-2. Good disaster, mate. Good disaster. Tactically, it was a disaster class in the second half, but it was good that we beat them twice. We beat them twice. Right foot, man. Yeah, people, please subscribe. I just want to let you know, I think we are 60 subscribers away. 60 subscribers away. So the least you could do is smash the like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. The least you could do is smash the like. Man like the Zerbi, you know, keeping Spurs up, you know. Man like the Zerbi. Man like the Zerbi, you know. Man like the Zerbi. Damn, what a win. What a win. What an absolute win for Spurs today, man. Nobody expected them to win. Nobody expected them to go to Villa and win, man. But desperate times, desperate measures called for desperate times, man. Listen, it's not every time that Manchester United beat Liverpool, but yeah, King Kobbie, mate. King Kobbie Mainoo. If you know, you know. And he's one of our own. He's one of our own. That Kobbie Mainoo is one of our own. Big up GGMU. GGMU. Yeah. Smash the likes. Man like Luani, how you doing, King? You well?
Yes, sir. Big up. Good
Big
evening.
up
How
to you,
you
brother.
doing?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm tired. I've just come from a gig. I was hosting a stage at a festival since 2 o'clock. I've been there since 2 o'clock. I saw the game. There was a pub right next to the square where I was working. So I could see the game. Half an hour here, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here. I've not seen the whole 90, but I saw enough. Talk to me. How did you see the game? Big up to you and love.
Big up, big up, big up. Uh, um, Great game of football actually. Like typical what we do usually back and forth. We always start with intensity. That's what I like about us. With this Michael Carrick regime, we start with intensity. We put pressure on the other team, and most of the time now we take our opportunities really early. And nothing is strange to us because of the type of team that we are. We are a team that thrive on momentum. Um, we know that for 90 minutes, we're not going to be able to apply pressure and sustain 90 minutes. But what we do well is when we start and we have our moment, we tend to capitalize on that, whether it's at the beginning of the game or toward the end of the game. So what it does is that it doesn't really give teams the time respite. They know that we have momentum capitalizer in our team, game winners, and that's why usually make the difference when we play. Since Carrick has been here, that's the one thing that have been consistent with us. We take advantage of our opportunities and our momentums. So it was a great game. Of course, we have two individual mistakes that cost us two goals that allow Liverpool to be back in the game. Uh, but I'm not gonna go ahead and criticize the Carrick and his team for the change that they did. That no, that's the reason why Liverpool came back on the game. No, no, no. When you're a manager, when you're making changes, you can only make change based on the approach you want, based on how you want to manage the game going forward, depending on the circumstances and the score. But you cannot legislate for individual mistakes like Ahmad making that horrible decision to pass the ball backward, and Silly Nemens failing to pick up Casemiro on that, trying to play out from the back. Those are things that managers cannot legislate for. So I don't really blame the coaching staff on that. But what I will say is that congratulations to the coaching staff, Carrick, and the players, because when they took over, I think we were like 7 points off top four, and the mission objective has always been to try to achieve top four with this group of players, and his mission accomplished. So based on that, we cannot level a lot of criticism on them. Uh, it doesn't matter how they did it. A win is a win, and yes, we are comfortably sitting in top four back in the Champions League. Now we look toward the board and see how they can improve this team, and hopefully, Carrick can also improve some aspect of his management. Now that we comfortably sitting in top four, I think he can be brave enough and make some substitution in terms of a little change of personnel, just for us to see what the other players are made of, so that we can make a decision come the end of the season as to who we get to keep or who we get to let go. So that's my general view on the game. Nuruddin, are you here?
I'm here. I'm here,
Ah,
bro.
okay.
I'm here. I'm here. What would you say to the people that said that the second half was worrying? We sat back. Even in the first half, we played on the counter attack. What would you say to those that the performances actually have been really worrying since the Liverpool, since we beat Arsenal and City, and obviously the level of fitness that we had? And one thing we have to say, big up Big up, man. Big up for the raid, whoever's raiding us, man. Welcome to Tactical Devils. Big up to the Tactical Devils raid, man. Big up to the Tactical Devils, man. Love, 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 love. What would you say to people who say that? Obviously, today, no coach, no players can actually plan. Liverpool scored, but did they create any other big chances today? They didn't really create that much. They had a hell of a lot of injuries. They were there for the taking. I think if we would have got the third goal, I think psychologically we would have damaged them. What do you think about the performance? Could we have used the crowd? Could we have used the 70,000 Reds in that stadium vying for a revenge? That's what I said today. I said we need to get revenge on Liverpool for all the different humiliation defeats that they've given us in the last 10 years. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I 100% agree with the people who says that somehow it was shaky at some points, but like it's so difficult to level criticism based on the result and where we are right now. But when you look at our performances, since Carrick came in, one of the characteristic that one of the things we haven't been able to produce is control games. We know how to win games because we have game winners all over the pitch, and it seems like Carrick's system is centralized in letting them express themselves. We know that aspect of the game is covered. Some of the aspects of the game he's improving on, in terms of the press, for example, compared to the last game we played. Today's we at the beginning of the game, especially our press was good, prevent Liverpool from playing out the back. But then it's not something that we can sustain for 90 minutes. My issue when I look at this team play is that we play like in a box. So we are very close to each other, which is fine. We don't play with the whole pitch compared to under Amorim. So when we play in a box, it's like we play also in a corridor, and we just way too vertical. And when you're vertical, the game often turns into a basketball game. And when you play in the box and you are vertical, if you surrender the ball in transition, then most of your players are caught in one side of the pitch, and the opponent can switch play on you, and you see a lot of people who find themselves in a ton of space, and it happens to us all over and over again. The last game, I think it happens a couple of times. You find Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo on one side of the pitch, and we don't have, once the ball gets switched over to the other side, they both caught behind the ball, and it's usually a 1v1 between the opposing winger and our fullback. And that scenario keep repeating itself. So I'm saying that it's something that Carrick have to address. We don't play horizontal enough. But when you play horizontal, it allows you to control the game to a certain extent. Today I watched two games. I watched the Tottenham game, and I watched our game. Both games are similar in certain fashion. They end up in a 2-1, but Tottenham, we were leading 2-0. We were leading 2-0, and we allowed Liverpool to come back 2-2. Tottenham was leading 2-0, and you see, I don't know if it's the De Zerbi effect, but the way at 2-0, the way they were able to control the game, is almost like Aston Villa didn't come anywhere near them. In terms of, for large portion of that game, you feel like they were gonna either score a third goal. But when we were leading 2-0, you feel like Liverpool still have control of that game. They have their two outlets, Frimpong and Gakpo, that was still in a ton of space. Of course, the execution was poor, but you still feel like at any time when they score one goal, they will go ahead and score another. And we might end up, the game will flip on its head, because at any point in time we didn't have that control. And that's what that's what almost happened, because as soon as they scored that first goal, it became a shaky affair. And then they scored that second goal, you feel like, wow, it looked like Liverpool is gonna go and win this game. And that is the kind of scenario we need to work on going into next season. I don't know how Carrick is going to address that, but the bigger objective have been achieved. I agree with everybody that says that, yeah, we're winning. But if you look at all the game that we played since Carrick come in, bar the Aston Villa game that we won convincingly.
But
Every
is
other
it
game,
sustainable? Do you genuinely believe this football is sustainable, Luani? Truly in your heart. Don't be devil's advocate. Truly in your heart, do you think this football is sustainable next season?
I don't believe it's sustainable. I don't because Carrick
Do you
is
have us
not.
on somewhere? Can you turn us off if you've got it on?
Hang on a second.
Yeah, I don't believe it's sustainable because I don't think that the board or the ownership will bring in enough quality to compensate for that kind of football.
Yeah. Big up. Let me just get this. Big up Adewale. Adewale says, happy about the win. Carrick deserves a job. But I have this feeling this time next year we're going to be wishing we gave it to deserve it. The job. What is going on with Ahmad and Mbeumo? Both have been very poor. He needs more game time, 100%. I mean, Ahmad could have cost us the game today. Two mistakes, really. Senny Lamens, we forgive him because he's been wonderful all season. He's been a signing of the season for me in the Premier League. If you ask me, forget about United. He's been the revelation of the season. Senny Lamens, but today he made a poor pass that cost us a goal. But we forgive him because he saved us many, many games. Big up, Irfan. How you doing, bro? You good? Did you watch the game? Did you watch it in its entirety?
I did watch. I missed the first 6 or 7 minutes, and I switched on it, and it just scored. But we did start fast. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm trying to work out where the fan base is with the whole thing because, I listened to you and Saeed. I don't know, was it yesterday or the day before? You did a long thing about Liverpool. Was it yesterday? Yeah,
The day before.
I think it was yesterday. So I had that in my mind when I was
yesterday morning.
Yeah, it was a long one. It was a good one. It was a very long one. Yeah. So I was listening to that just to kind of gauge where we are with it. And then watching this game, I mean, obviously you could feel that it's the first time when just the vibes I was getting from the actual fans, you could hear that we were ready to play them. This wasn't fear. We're okay, Liverpool, you ready? So that's what I got the feeling in watching the match beyond watching the football itself. So we were confident and we scored 2 goals very, very quickly. But Liverpool didn't stop playing, but we were just in control. And that first half, I mean, we had chances to kind of I always said to myself, you said this many, many times, 2-0 is a dodgy scoreline. You know, it's a vulnerable scoreline. You've said it so many times over the years. And I was thinking, we need one more. And so, I thought, I was very happy with the first half performance. And then in the space of 5-6 minutes in the second half, I'm like, what's happened here? Obviously, do we know what happened with Šeško? Because did you see what Konate did to him? Did you see that? You didn't see it, Nuruddin? Basically they're heading into one corner where the corner flag is, right near there. Konate pushes him. You got the edge of the pitch, man. Old Trafford, where you can slide down and you can almost do bobsleighing. Yeah, you could do skiing or whatever. The end. He went. You could hear the thud of him falling into it. And I've got a feel. I don't know whether that was the reason that he came off, but that was horrible what I saw. And it wasn't even. It wasn't even said. The referee didn't even give us a foul. I mean, that was also one thing because it was also a bit odd because it felt like the referee didn't want to give us anything because we were sort of cruising. So it's very odd how the referee behaved. But it's him going off in the second half and then putting Ahmad on sort of changed things for the team. The team didn't come out. The team looked, the whole formation didn't look the same as it was in the first half. And then giving away 2 goals out of nothing, right? Suddenly, bang, the whole game changes. And so we had to dig in. But, what people keep saying, and I'm reading it, we have this confidence about the team where we'll especially at home, we'll fight. I mean, we'll keep going, we'll keep fighting. But Nuruddin, as you said many times before, the second half was basketball. The second half was basketball, right? This was so crazy. At one point, I saw Casemiro as centre forward, thinking they're just running through the midfield. We've got the midfield. What's going on? So in the second half, I don't know whether it was a case of losing Sheshko, which basically meant we lost our shape. We were a bit, I don't know whether we were too overconfident or not really with it or in cruise control, but we allowed him back in the game in the cheapest way possible. Horrible to watch, right? And then we were under the cosh, as in like, oh shit, you know, they could easily win this. But that's when the basketball started, backwards and forwards. I mean, to be honest with you, Casemiro had a brilliant header to get ahead. Free header, 6 yards out, just headed straight at him. Yeah. He was shocked to how much time he had. But you know, the thing is, because of the confidence of the team, like we'll give it a go. We won't die, and if we lose, we'll go out, punching basically. So I was sort of happy the way we dug in, but from a football and coaching perspective, the second half was a joke. You cannot play games like that at home. And we won with Nuruddin. We won by vibes. It was just pure, determination. It was Liverpool, the crowd behind us, But for me, it was a heart attack to watch that. I didn't want to watch that second half of the way because it could have gone either way. It really could. Horrible to watch for a Man United fan. So, and then I kept reading. Okay, so what do we make of this game? What do I think of it now? I mean, obviously, everyone's happy. They're all happy. They're all saying Carrick's amazing, but I have concerns, Nuruddin. I have concerns because
I've been saying it all season.
I've been saying it all season. This kind of football, when the honeymoon's over, like because obviously we're
3 games next season, 3 games a week next season.
Not just that, Nuruddin, because I'm trying to think of this. Okay, so let's just look at this from this season. This season is Carrick rescue from damage limitation. Okay, so that's the rescue. So that's the psychology of all the fans and the team, right? What happens next year when everyone regroups and we're playing the same type of football? What's going to happen? All right, let's hope we don't know what recruitment's going to be, but I am worried watching this Man United team because you said it before, you deemed as negative if you say that it's got the right guy for the job. You said yesterday we couldn't get Areola because Areola is like, you have to have maximum fitness. You have to get 7 different players in. You have to play a different way. But watching this guy, because we don't have the legs. And the only other thing I learned about Areola as well, because I was listening to what you said yesterday, those players, in Bournemouth, Nuruddin, they play, they train for 7 days. You train 7 days. You have to have serious fitness. So much as I'm happy that the team, we qualify for Champions League, all the fans are happy, everyone's over the moon, me as a sort of someone who's a bit more careful with everything, I'm a bit concerned about whether this football is sustainable for next year. I don't know whether we can do it, but we definitely need midfielders like ASAP. We really need them. You saw how, Casemiro to me gassed out. He gassed out after 60 minutes, gone, finished, 55, whatever, gone. So happy the fans, but that kind of football is definitely not sustainable. No way. Not next year. No way. We really need to shape up for next year. I hope so. Hope people don't think I'm being negative, but we can't play this type of football next season. No way. We're gonna get beaten by lots of good teams. I see that.
Yeah. We've got to tell the truth. We have to speak the truth. Yeah. We have to speak the truth. Yeah. People think next season, everyone, it's like a year away. It's a couple of 4 months away. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing, Nuruddin, as well about Ahmad? Because people talk about Ahmad and this and that. Ahmad's sort of first pass in the game was led to their goal. Ahmad's first pass. So I felt sorry for him, but Ahmad seems to be lacking confidence at the moment. He doesn't seem to be the same player anymore. Okay, so he's going through a bit of a lull at the moment. So I felt sorry for him, but luckily, him and Semi Laman's mistakes were not, it didn't hurt us.
Not costly. They're not costly. Yeah,
they weren't. But it was sad to see him playing with no confidence. It's not nice to see the kid's not playing with any confidence at all. Yeah, it's just not. So that's also a worry. But I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe you know more about this than me, but he's not playing with any confidence whatsoever.
I know that tactically, Irfan, he had more room when he played wing back. He had more room.
Yeah.
He had more room when he played wing back. And I think the system that being drilled into him, he was playing more in the space because when he's playing wing back, he had a lot of space. He always had the space in front of him. And I think when you played like that for almost a year and a bit, obviously nearly a year, it's going to be something that you have to go back to playing as a more of a left winger, or right winger. So it's going to take time. But I'm not going to worry about him because he's got enough technical ability and he's got enough ball skills to be able to get back and I think some players lose form. You know, we live in modern times where players can't lose form. The problem is that we haven't got none of the squad members for them to come on and to replace them, so we don't have to worry about. You don't worry about that City. With Man City players, they're not on form. Foden, you whole bench. Yeah, somebody else plays. Go ahead, Luani. People, please, let's pick up the like, smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed.
What I was trying to say is just about the team, the way we play football, the way we start game is we start with intensity. We attack the teams, we press them. The passes are fast and everything, but we cannot sustain that. That's why when teams play against us, if we start well, when we don't capitalize, or even when we do, they have that instance where when they get the ball back, they will start passing the ball around, and then they'll wait for our intensity to die down or silence the crowd by just playing horizontal passes and recycling the ball. It happened with Brentford last week. As soon as we score the two goals, we surrendered the initiative to them, and we are under the coach. If it wasn't for the fact that Igor Thiago was just missing chances left and right, they would have just take that game over. And the same thing happened today too. We started well, we scored 2 goals very fast, and then we surrendered the initiative to Liverpool again. And from there on, I bet they're poor in their execution, but they still have their outlet that were in ton of space. But when we have the ball, when we progressing the ball, the thing that's worrying for me is we don't seem to have a certain scheme that we use that allow our fullbacks to bomb forward, like Luke Shaw or Dallo. They're not consistently bombing forward to create that overlap. And the one time that they did it today, I think that's what ended up to the 3rd goal. That Luke Shaw bombed forward, end up to the 3rd goal of Kobbie Mainoo. But those are the things that I'm personally worried about, because that allowed the opponent to get back into the game. We surrender way too much initiative to them, and when we get punished, we have momentum capitalizers in our team, but the other team always come to us with momentum killers, in terms of once they get the ball, even if with our crowd behind us, once they start passing it around, they can calm down the crowd. Even when today Liverpool didn't represent any danger today, they were a large portion of that game where they were able to get the ball, pass it around, calm down the crowd, and put us in a position that they wanted us to be. So that's one thing we have to worry about next year. You will see instances where Maguire has the ball, he will carry into that right channel, he will carry the ball into space, and there will be a lot of people in front of him, but there will be no movement, and then he have to turn around and recycle it. Same thing happened with Eden Heaven on the right hand side. He did the same thing. He carried the ball into space. There was not a lot of movement, and he have to recycle it. And those things makes me think that we too much freestyling it. But as for the positive about it, we have players that can make difference when they call upon. It's not sustainable.
100%. People, please get involved in the poll. Every time we're live, we try to do a poll. We just ask the question: is Carrick being set up to fail? Because I believe we need 7 to 6 signings to at least sustain Champions League, to finish top 5 next season. That's what I believe. Not to challenge. We're nowhere near challenging. We need 7 to 8 players to be able to sustain, so that we don't do a Newcastle. That's what I'm talking about, people. And please smash the like, subscribe. The fan base is saying we beat Liverpool twice. We're beating them for the first time in 10 years. We beat them twice. If we win our next couple of games, we'll probably finish higher than them this season. But out of the 2 teams, when you're watching the game, where do you have more hope in Liverpool? And Liverpool were decimated by injuries, obviously, today. Isaac out. Ekatike obviously out for the season. Salah out. They had 3 of their front 3 strikers really out. Forwards out. Did you see the Liverpool play well second half, or were we that bad?
To be honest with you, Liverpool's gone for a very strange season, because obviously winning last year, and then spending stupid money to thinking they were going to consolidate their position. You know, going for Isak and spending all this money, Florian Wirtz, etc., spending a stupid amount of money for it to collapse like that, and then the form of Salah to collapse. I see a very, very brittle team, very, very brittle. You know, and they've had a horrendous season. I think that was the 11th loss of the season. So I mean, to be honest with you, they need to big time regroup, and I think they're gonna have to get rid of the slot. I think they have to bring in Alonso, somebody like that to save them, because they have got that. It's a good team, but it's a team that's damaged. It's a damaged goods team. They need to regroup. They need to change a few players. They need to bring in some more fresh blood. I don't know where they're gonna go. I don't know how they're gonna what they're gonna do, but I know Scousers are very, very unhappy with Slot and the team at the moment. It's mad though. They've had a shockingly bad season, and yet they're still going to qualify for the Champions League. So it is an odd one. I don't know. I don't know where. I don't think they're a bad team. They've still got some very, very good players. In everywhere, every part of the pitch, you see good players. But I just saw, you know, we beat them because they're brittle and we're more confident than them. We've got more belief than they have. They haven't got the belief. And another day, you know, if we didn't manage to sort ourselves out in the second half, midway for the second half, it could have been a draw, or they might have snatched it because they were attacking. It wasn't like they were sat back. But you know, we're on this run of of confidence where we'll stay in the game for a long time. And it was a beautiful goal. I was so happy with the goal that Kobbie scored, because, you know, it was an intelligent footballer's goal. It wasn't like a typical sort of, lucky vibes goal. It was very, very measured the way he took that shot. So it was good that we saw it out. But again, for me, I can't handle no control of the game in the second half. I can't handle that. I can't handle heart attack football. It doesn't work for me one bit. But again, Liverpool, I really don't know, because they are in a very tricky situation. They really are. I don't know if you know Nuruddin, but maybe you do, Lawani. But since we go this, I don't know whether people know, but the commentator said that we haven't lost since when going 2-0 up at half time since 1984. Did you know that, Lawani?
No, I was
Did you know
not
that?
aware of that.
Yeah, we haven't. When we're 2-0 up at half time, we haven't lost since 1984. Crazy, isn't it? So
that's crazy. Yeah.
That's 16, 26. That's 42 years.
Damn.
Crazy.
So when I look at the way we play, it's almost like we are becoming somehow of a predictable team. But normally, what you want is, when you have a team that's freestyling as much as we do, the last thing you want to say is that we're predictable. But we are becoming that, because we rely on Kobbie Mainoo to progress our ball. Now he's even becoming an over-reliance. And then we are relying on Bruno Fernandes to create all our chances. You take those two out of our game. We don't have any other.
Yeah, we got nothing without those.
Yeah, we have nothing. We don't have any other outlets. No. But when you look at Liverpool, for example, today, despite their poor execution, you can clearly tell that their outlet was Frimpong and Cody Gakpo, because every time they have the ball, the play is designed to recycle it and get it to those two in space, so they can isolate our fullback. But we didn't see a lot of them because of the tremendous defensive work that Cunha and Mbomo put together, because they were tracking them back and they were able to prevent them from isolating or doubling up on our fullback. But still, when I watch us progress the ball, I just think that we need to do a little bit more in terms of diversifying our point of attack, because it's either it's Bruno or bust. And I have to give a lot of credit to Bruno. I don't like the guy, but God damn it, he almost have a pair of eyes behind his head, because of the way he plays.
100%. He gives everything,
He always gives 100%. That I can't take that from him. So frankly, those two out of our game, I don't see what else we can do.
But let me ask you then, Lawani. I mean, let's just talk about Liverpool for a second. Somebody's put in the chat, actually very smart at this. I forgot about this, because someone mentioned obviously the Jota death has had some kind of effect on the team, because that seems very reasonable and rational to think that. And they're also saying the same person saying that it's affected Salah because Salah's form was really dropped off a cliff this season. I didn't expect that, so maybe he's affected by Jota. I mean, what do you think about Liverpool? I mean, I'll just put our Man United aside. What do you think their problems are? What do you think it is with Liverpool, Luwani?
I will not go as far to say that the Jota death affect them to such a large scale.
But Luwani,
in such a long run.
That, yeah, but Luwani,
no, yeah, because I'm just saying that based on the fact that I think that these guys are professional, and yes, they're human. They also professional.
They're humans,
so
yeah.
They're able to move through certain tragedy. I'll say the main issue that Liverpool have, because they won the league in the first year of Arne Slot. So I think the main issue that they have is they are from club to Arne Slot. The first year, Arne Slot didn't really force his system on them. He almost autopilot the whole thing to another title. But now that this second year, he's trying to force the system on them. The combination of that transition that they're trying to go from a high octane football to more control, possession-based football, coupled with the fact that they brought in a lot of potential starters. And that combination is what confused them a bit. But you can look at them right now and say they are operating below their level because that team is full of quality. But at the same time, you can also say that they are still in that transition phase. And eventually, if they click, they have game winners all over the pitch.
You think they're in transition phase, but...
Yeah, I think they're in transition.
But don't you think they've got a better squad than we have, though? Don't you think?
They do. The reason why a lot of people don't think that they are in transition is because they won the title. So they thought because they won the title, they could carry on from there and just establish a dynasty and be dominant. No, that first title that they won, the first year of Arne Slot, I don't think they were supposed to win that. But it happens that it was just a residue from Klopp. And Arne Slot didn't try to overdo it, so they did one. But then their real, I would say, the real measure of that transition starts showing up in the second year. Why this Arne Slot is trying to bludgeon the whole team together with the newcomers, the whole saga of Isaac. He didn't show up, and then he wasn't brought in early, and then when he was brought in, there was pressure to play him, and also there was also the decline of Mo Salah, which is evident. I think that the way Mo Salah played, it was always going to be a matter of age for him. As soon as he started declining, he'll fall off the cliff. Unfortunately, he has never been that type of player that's like control measure based on technical ability. He's more of a physical, of a stud. So I think that showed up quickly with his age. So
I don't know. It's a strange one. Liverpool is a strange one this season already. What we didn't ask you. What's your thing on the? How do you see the decline of Liverpool?
I personally think the death of Jota affected the whole football club.
Yeah, that's what someone said.
Players,
that's what we were
because
discussing
some players
before.
spend more time with their teammates than they spent with their families because of the way the games a week. So that really affected them. I think they didn't have time to grieve, and grief affects people differently. I do think Klopp factor's not there. I do think that they were lucky to win the league last season because
you think they were lucky to?
Yeah, because the Premier League was crap. City and
the Premier League's crap this year, Nuruddin, as well.
Yeah, and again, that's what I'm saying to you. But Arsenal and City were horrendous last season. They both fell off a cliff. They were horrendous. So they were the best of a bad bunch. Nobody really gave them a run for their money. There wasn't a proper title challenge. It was just them, and because of those players.
Oh, and someone's mentioned losing Diaz was a big loss as well.
Oh, 100%. Diaz is a bad
massive loss.
People laugh at me. Yeah. People laugh at me. Yeah. But also the other Uruguayan guy, the striker. I forgot his name. The striker, the tall striker.
Oh, yeah, Nunes.
Oh, Nunes.
Ruben Diaz. What was Nunes? Ruben.
No,
Ruben,
yeah,
Nunes. Yeah, Nunes. Nunes, to me,
Darwin
you
Nunes.
can say what you want. Yeah, Darwin Nunes was getting into positions and was more of a threat on the shoulder of defenders because the way he played. And people are like, oh, I like Darwin Nunes. I never thought he was crap. He just missed loads of chances.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer, Irfan.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that you can coach people to finish. You can coach them. You can work. You can do hours and hours on a training ground for them to be able to finish. I think losing those two and Jota, obviously, that is a massive 3 players out of their team. Diogo Jota was injury prone, but he was a world-class player. He would come off the bench and score big goals. He was clinical. But Nunes, for me, would bully defenders, would always run on trouble. Anytime a Liverpool player looked up, Nunes is always playing on the shoulder of a defender or getting in front, you know what I mean, or coming off the right. And they had options of the bench, remember, on the club. So those 3 leave. I've seen poor finishers. Wayne Rooney wasn't the greatest finisher when he came to United. He learned how to be a striker at United. He learned. Andy Cole was the finisher when he was at Newcastle. He learned to be an all-round striker at Manchester United. How to run the channels, how to hold up the ball, how to be a team player. So for me, those players are a big miss in attack because goals was something that Liverpool was scoring on a regular. Because if the 3 that were on the pitch didn't score, you had Jota, Nunes, and Diaz was a big balance to cut, on that side, Salah. That gave more space and room to Salah because people were keeping an eye on Diaz. Look at the goal he scored in the Champions League the other night. Look at the goal, world-class goal. The finish, the touch, the way he delayed it and banged it into the corner. So that's what it is. But let's get back to United. I want to ask you guys the question. Do you think Ineos and Glazers, and I'll go to you here, are going to give the money to get the 6, 7 technically, physically, and technically good players that we need to sustain Champions League next season? Yes or no? Or analysis. Give me your analysis. What do you think is going to happen?
You know, Nuruddin, it's such a difficult question because I, if you really ask me, I would say before you can ask me that question, ask me whether Carrick's going to be the manager. That I can't think about what you just asked me until I think who's going to be in charge.
And listen, as far as anything's concerned, and we broke it on this channel about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, that they're giving a job to Carrick because all of the signs, all of the things that the club, the PR they're putting out about Carrick and Steve Holland and this other youth kind of coach working wonders. And we've seen it. We've played well in 3 games this season under Carrick. City game where we dominated and should have won 5, it should have been 6. The Arsenal game, which we deserved to win. And then the Aston Villa game at Old Trafford, that's the game where we played well, significantly for a large period. The other games, I wasn't convinced. Results are one thing, but sustainable football is another thing. There are, look, free transfer.
Marco Senesi, the guy from Bournemouth, the left.
Yeah, and Mateta on a free. Both of them are on a free. So both of them.
Apparently, isn't Senesi going to Spurs?
Irfan, he'll come to play Champions League. Are you telling me he's going to say no to playing Champions League and go to Spurs? No chance.
Well, I think he's a very good signing if we get him.
He is.
But look,
he's a fantastic passer of the ball.
Yeah, he is. He's very calm, I like him. And you know what? He does these what I call laser guided passes. He's a brilliant.
Irfan.
I watched him. I watched the guy. This guy's passes are beautiful.
About him. Yeah. I've been telling people about him for a long, long time. Big up Irish, man, up the Irish. Free Ireland, Free Ireland, United Ireland. Big up. Nora, the plan is to promote academy midfield instead of signing 3. Yeah. That is laughable. That is laughable.
So the more thing about Nuruddin, I think we're going to be lucky to get 3 players. And the problem is that obviously you've already told us we ain't going to get Elliot Anderson, no matter how badly we need him. We ain't going to get him. We're not going to get him. So then I don't see anybody else you can get like him. So I'm a bit worried because it needs to be some very, very clever recruitment next year. But I agree, we do need more than 3 players. I think we need another striker. I think we need left back. We need 2 midfielders, definitely, maybe 3. And I think we also need a centre back as well to cover for De Ligt and Euro. We need somebody there who's solid, and I really can't see it because. Then I watched a video where people saying, "Oh, we're going to get maybe 120 million back from the other players, the sales of Rashford what's the guy called who went to Napoli, the striker, the Danish guy? I cannot forget his name. What's the striker we had last year, and he's gone to Napoli?
Oh, McTominay?
No.
Ooh.
Right,
Hoyland, yeah, Hoyland.
Okay.
So if that, we're going to get 130 million back. I mean, again, Nuruddin, it's very hard to answer the question because I don't know how much money we got. I know
we're going to get almost for going to the Champions League, even for the group stages.
Yeah.
With all with Adidas opening the money again, we're going to get at least 100 million if we have a decent group stage.
Yeah, but that's not you need about 250 million to 300 million unless you're smart buyers. You need 250 million.
Well, I'm sorry, but this is what they have to do. They have to do this.
So this problem I have again.
If we don't do it, we're gonna have a season as much as Newcastle had. Because
it's going to turn into Ollie season. It's going to turn into Ollie season. I just can't see. It's such a difficult question to. It's such a difficult question to answer, Nuruddin. I can't bullshit you. I can't just waffle and give you an answer because I just really don't know what the fuck these clowns are going to do. I just don't know. I'm hoping my positive sales, with recruitment to get Cunha was good.
I mean, the league stage, sorry, Jamie Wynn, the league stage. You get 100 million, I think.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the recruitment to get Cunha, to get Mbeumo was good, although Mbeumo's dropped off a little bit as well. He's not delivering what I expected. I'm hoping they use the same sort of common sense or sharpness, recruitment sharpness to get those players. But I really, really, honestly, deep in my heart, I don't know what the fuck these guys are going to do. I just don't know. All I know is that we're in the game a little bit because we're in the Champions League. That does make us more attractive as a team again. But we're not the Man United of old where people were dying to come to us. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I can't answer that question truthfully. I reckon if I was to be honest, we might get 2 or 3 players in Nuruddin because we cheapskate club.
Well, that's not enough. That's not enough.
I know, but that's my honest answer.
Not enough. I know that. I know because you know the owners there. Yeah. Natasha said, I said, it will go balls up by Xmas.
By Xmas, yeah.
Right.
She could be right.
100%. He might not even make November. Big up, Ben. How you doing? Up the Irish, man. Big up, Ben. Long time no see, bro. I hope you're well. Sending love.
Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Big up, man. First things first, big up Irfan, big up to yourself, Nuruddin, big up to Luwani, big up the chat, man. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe. I mean, what a game. First things first.
First your reaction to the game, and then you can give us the rest. Give us your reaction to the game, and then how you feel, etc. Give us that before we get into the rest of it with you.
Well, first things first, the Scousers can hold that. They can enjoy their wee long trip home. So that's that out of the way. What I thought about the game, I mean, a game of realistically 2 halves in a way. Even though when we got the first goal, we sort of dropped our heads a wee bit, especially after the first goal. I was actually really, really concerned. Me and Khalees and a few others were saying we want 7. We want to go and actually give them a hammering because after all these years, like we've seen 5-0 Old Trafford, we've seen 7-0 Anfield. Like we need to come out and actually just give them an absolute bollocking, and realistically, we just didn't do it. And like after 2-0, I was like saying we need to go for the 3rd goal before half time. And although obviously it was Liverpool were actually growing into the game after like the 30th minute, I was then saying like whatever Carrick needs to do at this half time is huge because it can get like Liverpool's our biggest rival, and like when Carrick's in that changing room, he needs to be telling everyone, look, we're gonna get Champions League football. I want you to go out there. It's 0-0. Think about it in your minds. It's 0-0. It's not 2-0. It's 0-0. Go out there and actually give Liverpool the game they never wanted like to happen realistically. And look, honestly, bro, like the whole game itself, like I'd say it's the biggest red flag in terms of one thing that caught my eye. 3-man midfield. 3-man midfield. We need to forget about this double pivot from now on, man. We have to play a 3-man midfield. Gary Neville was even saying in the commentary box, and I don't like Gary Neville. I don't like him at all. I think he's delusional when he speaks on Sky Sports. But he even said, why can't Carrick put on another midfielder take off an attacker. But no, he stuck to his tactics, Carrick. We were so wide open. Everyone's giving a lot of props to Mainoo and Casemiro. I thought Mainoo was good today, really good, but I don't think he was man of the match today because Mainoo and Casemiro just looked so off, like in the second half.
Yeah,
they were literally passing. Bro, it was literally like people were like giving Amram and Ten Hag so much stick by saying, "Oh, the midfield's wide open." Bro, we're so wide open in this system. Nothing's going to change unless you have a flat-free midfield like the other modern coaches in the world, like Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique. I can't believe I'm saying his name. Fucking Jurgen Klopp. Like, there's all these coaches that have won big prize. Like even Ancelotti as well. They've all played a three-man midfield. They've never played a number 10 or any of this shit. And just once, if we had, say, for example, if Bruno Fernandes or Mason Mount, I'm not going to get on to Bruno, by the way, because I thought Bruno was actually okay today, like to some degree. But if we didn't have Bruno and Mason Mount, who are both logistically, they're number 10s, and we had an Ugarte, Mainoo, and Casemiro. Yes, Ugarte's shocking. He's a shocking player. He shouldn't be at this football club, but I don't blame him. But if we had, say, a Tonali, Elliot Anderson alongside Casemiro and Mainoo, I'm sorry, we do not lose that midfield battle. We do not lose. We do not gift them two goals there, man. Because once Ahmad lost the ball there, and I actually don't blame it down to Ahmad in that first goal, although obviously it was a shocking pass. Where is Casemiro and Mainoo? They're literally 2 meters from each other, and you can't do that in midfield. You can't. If we played a three-man midfield, I guarantee you right now they don't go and score that. Because why? There's always someone else to support in that middle of the park. And this is one thing that I love Carrick as a player. I always will love him. He's a legend. He's a legend in my eyes. But I'm sorry. I'm gonna say, look, Carrick, thank you so much for everything you did. We're gonna see Champions League football. Thank you so much. Leaving a high. But I'm sorry. Anyone who wants Michael Carrick is shielding these fucking owners. Why? Because it's literally the Poundland version of the appointment. It's a Poundland manager because it's the cheapest option. That's what they want you to. That's what Ineos and Glazers want you to do. They want you to get behind Michael Carrick because what I'm hearing from Nerdin and everyone in the chat is people are saying, I don't want to worry about the manager. I want to worry about the recruitment. Now, that if Michael Carrick fails next season, then that's okay, you know. But why are we accepting that? That means that we have to accept another failure from these fucking vultures. Why are we putting so much pressure on the fucking players, but not on the manager all of a sudden? Whereas back in the day with Amram and Ten Hag, it was all about, oh, this, that, you know, Amram this, Amram that, Ten Hag this, Ten Hag that. Like, and the fact that people, this is what really pisses me off about fans. It's the fact that Michael Carrick's got very lucky this season with third. Yes, his results have been phenomenal. But see, like years ago with Ten Hag and Amram, see any of the people who backed Ten Hag, like myself, and said that Ten Hag didn't get lucky this in his first season when we got Champions League. The whole Ten Hag outers all rinsed into me and saying, you're a fucking disgrace. Ten Hag got so lucky that first season. But bro, see, when it comes to Carrick, it's all about, no, you're fucking delusional because, you know, what do you call it? Carrick didn't get lucky. It's all skill. Like, it's good tactics and all this shit. Like, you know, bro, I don't understand what Carrick's trying to build with his system. I'm trying to understand. Like, I play football, and I see Carrick, out of every manager we've had in this whole like decade, I don't understand what Carrick's trying to play, what system he's trying to implement, what tactics he's trying to implement. I thought the only thing I saw good with Carrick is we actually played out from the back really, really well. I thought we actually took a lot of risk. But see, apart from that, I don't understand his tactics. I don't understand his system. I thought his in-game management, once again, up there with Ruben Amram's in-game management, shocking, even though Ahmad doesn't deserve so much stick. But you've got Xerxes on the bench there, who's literally got the same physicality sort of profile as Sesko. So why did you not bring on Xerxes? Why are you not bringing Shea Lacey into the bench when Ahmad and Mbeumo haven't been playing well? Like, all these questions, they need to be answered by Carrick, man. And like, yes, obviously it's helping him a lot because he's getting the results, and that's what obviously carries you on as a manager. But I'm sorry, the whole game itself, like, I just think, yes, I thought Liverpool were shocking. I didn't think they were that great. But one thing I did see, even though their quality isn't good, because obviously lost Salah, Isak, Ekitike, but one thing I seen was they're literally playing for us in the midfield in the middle of the park. And like people can then get on to say about the fullbacks, you know, this, that. No, the midfield is solely the biggest issue, and also the fucking one of the centre backs too, man. Because I don't think we're stressing about these centre backs enough. And people can say in the chat right now, I'm being negative, man. I want Man United to win, but I want what's best for Man United. I'm sorry if this is Bayern Munich, if this was Real Madrid, PSG, any of these fucking these clubs, they wouldn't be giving Carrick a chance. They'd be going out there and getting the best manager. Why can't we not get Luis Enrique? Yes, it's impossible. People all say about our ownership and all that shit. I know who these people are, but I demand. It's not like I want. I fucking demand from these fucking owners. We need to be putting pressure on these bastards. Excuse my language. We need to be putting pressure on these guys and saying, do your fucking work. Put 20, just go to PSG and say, look here, we'll pay 20 million quid or whatever it is his contract is to allow him to come to Man United. Why? Why is that possible? Because look what Man City did under Mancini. When Mancini left and Pellegrini left, who did they go and get? They went and got probably arguably one of the best managers to ever exist in football, and that's Pep Guardiola. Like, who the fuck are City compared to Man United? He literally left Barcelona or wherever he was, Barca or Bayern, to come to Manchester City, man. So we need to be doing the exact same thing with Luis Enrique, man. Or whatever young coach out there, man, who's actually done well or implemented a style. I'm sorry, man. I can't be backing these tactics, because these tactics are literally like Arteta's tactics. We score one goal, we sit back, we don't do shit, and we allow them to put pressure on us. No. When you score the first goal, in everyone's footballer's mind, it should always be, it's 0-0, Ben. It's not 1-0, it's 0-0. You go for more, you hunt more, you go for it. But no, I'm sorry, these tactics, I don't know what, it's all about man management for Carrick, and like all putting the arm around the shoulder, man. It's just bullshit, bro. And look, I'm so happy we're Champions League, man. But the fact I'm seeing Carrick's changed my life, you know, bro, if Carrick's changed our life, then can we all say, so Jim Ratcliffe's changed our life? Can we all say Jason Wilcox has changed our life? No, we can't, because the same energy will never be put onto these owners, man. Unlike me and like so many of our fucking fans who tell the fucking truth, bro. I'm not getting gaslighted again, man, but that's how I seen the game. I thought man of the match was Cunha. I think Cunha was absolutely phenomenal today. I think lots of people are getting blindsided by the fact that Mainoo was outstanding today, but he got broken through so easily with Casemiro, and it was very, very scary, man. Yes, bring in Tonali, bring in Elliot Anderson, bring in all these players, but the fact that the biggest thing, I need to stress this out to everyone in the panel and to the chat, you cannot win major trophies with having a double pivot. You have to play with a flat three. We have to start doing this, and the only reason we're going to get rid of that, and I'm sorry, look, I hope he breaks a record for the assist, but we have to get our Mason Mount, and we have to get our Bruno Fernandes. Look, thank you so much for everything you've done.
Let's crawl before we
move
run.
on. No, Sean, I'm sorry, but it has to, Sean, I want what's best for Man United, and I know Bruno's been unbelievable with his assists, but I'm sorry, Sean, please understand this. If we had Elliot Anderson, Tonali, and Kobbie Mainoo, that I'm saying this right now to you, that there will challenge for the fucking league. That there will challenge for the league, but not if Carrick's in charge, obviously. We need to fucking get rid of this fucking Carrick bullshit quickly, man.
Go ahead, Sean. Big up
everyone.
Ben. You made your case, Ben. You made the case. Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you.
How did you see the game?
I thought it was a fantastic game. I thought it was one of the best Manchester United games I've seen in a long time. It took me back to, you know, being in Lagos, Nigeria, like watching Manchester United as a kid. I felt even when Liverpool scored 2 goals, to me there was still a game. It wasn't like last season or 2 seasons ago where we concede 2 goals. You know it's only ending one way. Today, like many of the games under Carrick, you know, there was a chance that we would still win, and we did. Today, I think for me, the Carrick question, I know that we have to have the conversation. I hate it so much. I wish we could just wallow in the good vibes that we're enjoying right now. I wish we can kick the can down the road indefinitely, so we don't have to confront basically the choice that United has to make basically for a manager. Well, but I thought it was a good game. I thought once again, you're seeing the obvious weaknesses in the United team in midfield. But at the same time, you're seeing the strengths, which is that there's quality up front. Cunha is a good player. There's quality in the team. Kobbie Mainoo is solid. Casemiro is solid when he gets on the ball. We can go toe to toe with any team in the league, as we've seen under Carrick. And I think the most important thing is the mentality. From my perspective, that's the most important and unquantifiable thing that we're getting from this Carrick revolution. So, long may it continue. I've been busy with work, so I was up till like 2 a.m. last night. And then I slept super excited, got up at 7 a.m. to watch the game on time. And United did not disappoint. So, I think it's a great weekend ahead of me with many rewatches of the highlights. And I think you would have to search hard to look for things to be upset about today. Because if you're telling me that, Carrick isn't building a title winning squad, then my response is no shit, right? We're not going to go from 15th last year or where we went and under Ten Hag to a title contending team. We have to crawl before we run, before we fly. And I think undoubtedly, from my perspective, we're moving in the right direction, in a positive direction. There is a very solid foundation here for any manager to pick up and run with, whether it's Luis Enrique or if it's Carrick. And, the bare minimum that we can expect from anybody who takes over this team is to give us an equally competitive season, right, as we have right now. And if the best we can do for now is to continue to show up in the Champions League, continue to be third in the table, I think we're in for happier times basically, as a fan base, like in general. I'm not looking for a silver bullet.
Do you not think we need 6 or 7 players just to sustain Champions League next season? Do you think we're wrong about that assessment?
I think right now with the squad that we have, there are a couple of players that are yet to come back from injury that will definitely strengthen the squad.
1 second, Sean. 1 second, Irfan, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Well, don't I keep disappearing. I keep losing.
No. We need to forget about looking at that. You're still there. Sometimes your computer can be acting like that, but you're not disappearing. You're here with us. So just delete the other one. You try to join with the other one, so just delete and get rid of that.
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, I was saying though, like, I think the squad that we have right now, there are a couple of players that are yet to come back from injury. That with their full preseason, basically we can have a more robust team.
What a couple of players? What couple of players are talking about?
I count Lisandro Martinez as one of them.
Well, he was banned. He was banned today because he got a stupid red card. So this season we've got a couple of injuries. We've had a couple of red cards. Next season you're going to play more games. You're going to get more. Do we have the quality and the depth in the squad to be able to play 3 games a week?
So,
that's the question.
Let's not mistake ourselves for disagreeing now, because we're not disagreeing. You said 6 or 7 players. I'm thinking 3 or 4. Right? We're in the same universe. We just disagree on the exact details. I don't think it's possible or realistic for us to go and sign 7 players in one transfer window. I also don't think it makes sense for team dynamics and team harmony to bring in 7 new players into a team. And so I'm okay with the returns that we've gotten on our investment in Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko this season. I think if we replicate that same kind of quality this summer, get me 3 more first-team players, 2 in midfield, 3 or 4, 2 in midfield, 1 in attack, 1 in defense. I think we have a more robust squad. Again, I'm not going to Champions League next year to win it, right? If we do, I would hug you and we would dance around and be merry. But I'm not going there to win it. I'm going there to have a good time, to have a respectable outing, right? Which is minimum quarterfinals. And I'm going there to qualify again for next year, right? So I think we have to think about these things from my view, from a long-term perspective. What are we going to judge next season based on? If the idea is we're going to all of a sudden do 1999 again, right, or 2008, I don't think it's possible. But if you're asking me to take the next step forward, yes, I'm there with you.
I agree with Sean in the sense that if we bring in too many players, there might be an issue with the synergy or the chemistry that can make Carrick's job a little bit more difficult. Because of the objective that was the Champions League that have been reached by Carrick. Now I think he have a certain leverage. Him and his coaching staff have a certain leverage as to a say in who gets to come in. So they need to consult with the board or the director of football so that at least they can have a say in who gets to come in. Because if you come just to the ball, we know what they're up to. We know that they will either go two way. They will either try to bring in a couple of marquee signing, and that will be it. Maybe they will go for Nelly Anderson or Baleba, and they will address just one area of the pitch, and then they will move on from there, which will not really, which might not really translate into success next season. But I just think that the job have to be done in concert with Carrick and his team. I also think that even if we make the right signing, is just not enough to bring this team to a certain level, because the league is difficult every year. We have to be able to also complete that with the fact that Carrick and his team have to come with different ways of winning or managing games. Today, for example, you can see in his substitution, he started well. I didn't mind the first substitution in terms of bringing in Ahmad, because if you compare it to last game against Brentford, he was not proactive. From the 14th minute,
that was a forced change. That wasn't a substitution. That was a forced change.
No, let me just go.
If Sesko was injured, he would have carried on playing.
Yeah, let me just.
You can't say that, Luani. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. We like last game, for example, right? The criticisms that was leveled at him is that when the game went into the hand of Brentford, he at halftime he did a defensive substitution. I think he went to a back five.
Yeah, he went three at the back. He did,
yeah, three at the back. So from that point, we were under pressure all the way to the end of the game. He tried to manage it. So this game, I think he tried to be a little more proactive rather than just giving the game to Liverpool. He make an offensive substitution. I think that he was prepared until I saw Sesko limping out. So it made me think otherwise. But when I saw Ahmad coming in and Mbeumo moved to striker position, I say, you know what? Liverpool were 2-0 down. 2-0 down. They will commit a little bit more number forward, and it's a good idea to try to hit them with Mbeumo and Ahmad at that point. So I thought that we'll probably end up scoring a third goal. But unfortunately, you cannot legislate for the personal mistake of some players. Ahmad made that unfortunate pass, and the momentum shift back to Liverpool. The other part of the substitution after the Ahmad one is the one I didn't agree with completely, because then he moved Mbeumo. He took off Mbeumo and brought Cunha back to the front and brought in Dogo on the left hand side, and then he took off Cunha and then brought Xerxes in. That whole thing after that, I didn't agree with. I thought if he wanted to bring Xerxes in, he could have brought him in to stabilize the game at that point, because Liverpool was taking control. He could have brought Xerxes in right away for Mbeumo. But the whole merry-go-round that he did up front at that point, I think, did not affect the game the way it's supposed to.
I don't like how much game time Xerxes is getting either. I wish he was getting a lot more game time, but I think so far what I'm seeing from the team, I like the decisions that Carrick is making. I like the trust that he's placing in Aiden Heaven. I like how he has Kobbie Mainoo playing. I think there's obviously, in my opinion, obviously a system. You see it in the positions that Bruno takes up, in the way we play out of the back, which is a lot more confident and a lot more assured, from players. The way the centre backs carry the ball forward, at certain times, the positions that the wing backs, Dalot and Luke Shaw hold. So there's something good or there are a couple of things that are good about the way Carrick plays. The weaknesses I think were obvious today. Liverpool were able to pass through our midfield, quite often. Basically, there was always a ball through the center of our midfield to Wirtz or to Gravenberch, and they had many opportunities to turn and shoot. Although a lot of their shots, just went around the post. But at the same time, that's football, right? They spent £500 million on a team. So I think it's only fair that they cost us some trouble in the game. But outside, I think I honestly thought at 2-0, I thought if we just did the right things,
we should have got the third. We missed the third. We had probably opportunities to get the third.
I really thought it was going to be that day.
I think Liverpool had done if we would have got the third in that first half.
No, did we
though? It's the most dangerous result in football. But we gave them 2 goals. We gave them 2 gifts to get them back in the game. People, one second, people. We're going to start a new poll. I want to know what your player of the match was. But yeah, we have. Is Carrick being set up to fail next season? 65% of you say yes. 35% of you say no. I don't know what the 35% of you are drinking. Seriously,
shout out to the 35%.
I need some of that.
It's too early to say he's been set up to fail.
What's that?
I asked the question.
Lost me.
Is Carrick gonna be set up to fail next season if we don't get the signings? Simple as.
Okay, but explain what set up to fail means. Explain
that
what that
not
means.
Getting the players at the level of quality and the physicality we need in this team. When we're going to be playing 3 games a week.
But
3 games a week.
We don't know what
he's when Newcastle finished. When Newcastle before their win yesterday would have finished. They would have finished in the bottom half. Do not get it twisted. I'm telling you, I am 100 million % certain. And if I'm not, I'll come here and apologize. People like Sean and I think 3 players we're going to need. You think only we're going to sign 3 players. That's not enough. That is not enough because Casemiro's leaving. Most likely, Ugate's leaving. Most likely, Ugate's leaving.
Ugarte is in non-entity now.
So we're going to need
Casemiro will replace like for like.
Right? 3 midfielders at least. And promoting young players who are not ready from the youth into the first team squad. That's not working. The only one that we can really promote next season is Shea Lacey. He's the one that
he doesn't get played, Nuruddin. Carrick doesn't play him.
Yeah, my math is 2. My math is 2 midfielders.
Let me finish, please, Sean. Any of the Fletcher, because they're not physically ready. No. They're not, and Jim Thwaites is not physically ready. Some of our youth players need to go out on loan. They need a loan to go and get some experience in big-time football, right? So what I'm telling you is, if they don't sign the players, 6 to 7 players, in my humble opinion, we're going to struggle next season. And some people think Carrick won't even make it to Christmas.
Okay, let me ask you a
listen,
question.
People, get in the poll. Who was your player of the match?
All right, I've got a question coming back to what you just said. So, okay, I understand what you're saying. So, can you tell me the last time we signed 6 or 7 players in the summer transfer window? Can you tell me last time have we ever done that? When's the last time that happened? I don't know.
No, but teams have signed.
No, but when's the last time we did it?
This is the question, Irfan. This is what I'm asking. The level of squad we had, we don't sign players in January. So in the summertime, we need to sign those 6 players, 7 players, Irfan. We must, because there are players leaving. I'm telling you 3 players who are leaving. One of the substitute goalkeepers is leaving. Heaton is leaving. I think Ugate's done out here because he wants to play football. Casemiro's definitely leaving. Malacia is leaving. He played 10 minutes and he cost us the game against Newcastle. So he's not even getting a sniff. Luke Shaw is not going to play 3 games a week. Neither is Maguire going to be able to play 3 games a week. You saw what Szoboszlai did to him, to ask him like he was not there. Yeah. And we know Diego Dalot's not good enough either. We need 2 new fullbacks. We need 3 centre midfield players. And we need a left winger at least if we keep Sersky. But go ahead. People, get voting your player of the match.
I just want to come back to what Ben said about the 3-man midfield. I don't think it's an issue, because I'm not too sure what I understand by 3-man midfield. In possession, when you play with a 3-man midfield, you always, most of the team don't even do that anymore. They progress the ball with a single pivot, and I've yet to see anybody play a 4-3-3 in the midfield. Most of the team go now with a 4-2-3-1. So if you progressing the ball, you have a single pivot, and the other two midfielders, either you play them as 2-10, or either you play an 8 and then another 10. They are never like on the same line. And now if you're defending, you're not even talking about a 3-man midfield. You can't defend with 3-man midfield. Either you're defending in a 4-4-2 or in a 4-2-4 or 5-3-2, whatever it is. But I'm not too sure if that 3-man midfield make any difference, because defending is structural. And most of the team, when they're moving the ball now, they take a risk of moving it with a single pivot. So I've seen Newcastle is the closest thing to playing a 3-man midfield, and they've been leaking goals all over the place. Even when they were fit, all of them are fit. Guimaraes or Joelinton and Tonali, they're still leaking goals. So I don't think that's the issue.
I think ultimately, the point that you're making, the point Nili was making, I think this question of what kind of backing does Carrick or any manager need in the summer is, to me, the most important or decisive question, right? Do we need 7 players, as Nuruddin is suggesting, or 3 or 4 or 2? Because my math is slightly different. If Ugarte leaves or not, I don't know if I'm going to miss him. Right? He doesn't count. He wasn't playing at all in the first place. Casemiro, we're replacing like for like. The same thing applies to Malaysia. Now, would it be nice if we had a different left back? Sure. But if we have only X amount of money to spend in a given summer, right? We have a finite amount of money to spend because there's only so much. What would you rather invest in? And looking at the transfer window, I would rather focus on buying 2 solid midfielders because we need to replace Casemiro like for like, and we need a more dynamic, midfielder than Kobbie Mainoo, also to keep him honest, because Bruno is not going anywhere. He's untouchable. And Cunha can play in that role, Mason Mount can play in that role. Those are professionals basically that I want to have around next season. In defense, I agree that left back is actually a weakness. I think I don't like Patrick Dogu at left back. I think Dogu is more of a left winger, and I want to see him up front. So that's the defensive position that I have in my mind as the 3 or 4 that we need to sign basically. And then somebody up front would be nice. So that's 3, right? 2 midfielders, 1 left back, and 1 attacking player. Another right winger or somebody that can play across the board. I'm curious what Irfan thinks because he was asking for clarification. What's your count?
Let me just get the super chat before Irfan speaks. Adewale said we've signed 6 players in 2015 with Van Gaal. Ineos need to sign at least 6 players. You guys should stop with these excuses. If we don't, Carrick will fail next season. Go ahead, Ev.
I don't know because, look, the Van Gaal season, that was meant to be a reset. That was after he was after Moyes. Am I right, Nuruddin? Yeah. He was after Moyes. Yeah. So,
yes.
Moyes was a disaster. Really big fuck up. Yeah. So getting Van Gaal was gonna give us a new football, a new system. Develop young players and play football. So we've sort of struggled. Then we've crashed and sort of almost been decapitated 2-3 times since then. So and obviously the owners are still there. So we haven't had stability. We haven't had stability for a long time. And even before I came on today, Nerdy, when I got home, you'd already started the show. I was actually driving home, and I always like to gauge where the fan base is regarding this. And obviously, the vibe I always get from the fan base or the fan channels is that, we're so happy we're winning, because they can still remember the 15th of last season. But when you're in that mode of like, oh shit, look where we were, we were 15th last year, and look where we are now. I understand that's human behavior. That's human, feelings to kind of think, oh, look, well, at least we're not in the shit anymore. But looking at where we are and how we go forward, we're still fucked with shit ownership. We still got this clown, this scumbag, Ineos, Jim the Rat there. We still got him. And so we're looking at Barada and we're looking at, Wilcox and thinking, are we going to get recruitment right? You were screaming already all fucking month to say, listen, why are we not buying anyone? February, why are we not buying anyone? And I keep thinking, well, obviously, I don't think we've got any money. I just don't think we have any money. So that is the cloud I think about and think, well, can we get players? And I think we'll be lucky to get 3 or 4. I think we'll be lucky. I can't see us getting more than 3 or 4 players. Yeah. I do think we need 6 or 7, but I just can't say any. And honestly, we're at the point where we're relieved we got Champions League football, but I really am stuck to see how we're going to progress next year when the intensity of 3 games a week happens, and we're past this honeymoon period of survival where, thank God, we managed to sustain ourselves and we're in Champions League, which is progress. But the next step is a very big step for a football club to take. It's a very, we could easily fall back to 6th or 7th next year because we just don't have it to campaign on all these different fronts, and nothing in the ownership has told me that they're gonna recruit with the money they need. I mean, I'm hoping, like Sean said, is that we do get like quality buys, like Premier League proven, like we did with Cunha and Bumo. Sesko was a bit of risk. We need those, but Nuruddin's talked about it many, many times. We ain't going to get Elliot Anderson. We're not going to get the players we need. We're going to have to take risks on second-tier players, like Belaber's one season guy. So I really, really stuck as in what to tell you about how do we make this transition next year, because I think it's just a very big transition for us to make realistically with the way the club is run at the moment. I can't see it, but all I can do is hope. The hope is a little bit like the Vibes football we play. We play a little bit of Vibes football. And I said it earlier on, we play Vibes football because we've got our confidence back. We're not as fragile as we were, but we're still error prone. So, and I don't think the football's sustainable as it is. I think, we made a good point about playing 3 midfield. There's just so many questions we've got to ask us. Yeah, I'm not getting giddy by the results. Like I said, I am very happy where we are, but I just can't see us buying more than I think maximum we'll get is 4 players next year. 4 players, and we need to find some gems that we could do. You said, Nuruddin said before, getting Marco Senesi from Bournemouth is the first thing I'd do. That's the first thing. I just can't see it. I can't see it though.
I'm looking at the because that's Bengal list sounded fishy to me, so I tried to look it up, right? And these are the players that we signed in 2015.
Big up Saeed, man. Big up Saeed in the chat.
Yes, Saeed.
Big up Saeed, and the prices. We signed Marshall, 60 million euros. Sergio Romero, free transfer. Schneiderlin from Southampton for 35 million euros. Schweinsteiger came in 2015 also for 90 million euros from Bayern Munich. Matteo Damian, anybody remember him? From Torino, 18 million euros. Memphis Depay.
He just won the league with Inter Milan.
Yeah. Depay, 34 million euros, and then we got Valdez on the free transfer. Now, if looking at those players, Marshall, Romero, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Damian, and Depay, was that a good transfer window in hindsight?
But hang on, Sharon, hang on. Let me just clarify. We were still the great Man United then. We were the fucking we were still one of the golden boys of football. So we still had that traction. We still had that kudos. We had
feel free to adjust for inflation. Feel free to adjust for inflation, adjust for inflation, adjust for today, 2026. The equivalent in your mind of Marshall, Romero, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Damian, and Depay. If we were to sign the equivalent of that quality of player or that class of player in this transfer window, or would that be good enough? Right? Who is the Marshall that will be looking to sign? A young up-and-coming striker from a European club, a goalkeeper on the free transfer, a squad defensive midfielder from the Premier League, a retiree from Bayern Munich or Madrid in Schweinsteiger, a wing back, unknown from an unknown club in Italy in Damian, and a pretender will they one day pay at PSV. I don't know if people will be happy with that kind of transfer window right now, especially what they got in midfield, Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger. And you can say the priorities are different, right? You spend more money on the Marshall and the Depay equivalents. But that's what I'm saying. if we ended up this window with a free transfer goalkeeper to help us, a free transfer, old defender, wing back. I don't know who we can get. Alaba. If we can get Alaba on the last year of his career or something, from Bayern, I wouldn't mind. But if you're asking me, where should United spend our 70 million pounds that we have? Let's say we have 140 million, check, or the same amount that we spent on Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko, roughly 200 million pounds to spend. I would say, please spend the bulk of it getting me a midfielder or two midfielders, and basically because that's what we need. The wing back role can still kind of wait.
I believe when it comes to the signing, it have to be a work that have to be put in by Carrick and his management team. It doesn't depend on how expensive the player it is, how many players we brought in, or how much of a quality they are. It's up to Carrick and his team to identify how they want to play football and consult with his director of football and identify the profile that he need to bring in. It doesn't matter if that profile they go in League and bring in somebody, they go to the championship, or bring somebody else out somewhere in somebody in South America that we don't know about. But as long as the profile fits the way Carrick wants to play and mold well into that team, and the area that he and his team identify that they need to address, that will do the job. We're trying to progress. If there is a disconnection between what Carrick and his team is trying to do and the job that the ownership, the players they identify trying to bring in, I think next year we'll be in for a long run.
Let me tell you what I hope Carrick thinks in his mind. I hope Carrick believes that on his day, Kobbie Mainoo can go toe-to-toe with any midfielder in the Premier League, right? I hope that's what Carrick has in his mind. I hope Carrick thinks that like the players he has in the squad, if they're feeling good or if they're up to it, they can stand up against any team basically in the league. Because if the requirements for Carrick to succeed is for him to get everything that he wants and needs, every single thing that he needs, I don't know how that works, right? I mean, I work for a living. I would love my companies to give me every single resource that I think would make my life easier, right? But that's not how it works. You have to actually apply yourself. You have to be creative. You don't always have what you need. And the excuses are useful, right? So if we go out and go for Fabregas, we'll end up with Fellaini, right? I would understand. But I think the way we've been moving this last summer, and I want to repeat the standard, if you get me Mbeumo and Cunha quality midfielders, I have no complaints, basically.
Okay.
And then the onus is on Carrick to deliver.
Okay, big up Adewale says Mateta, Senesi both free, sign both of them. Why are you making excuses for Ineos, Sean? Are you on the payroll? Yeah.
I wish I was on the payroll now.
We need players. Stop with the BS. That's a fact. Manchester United needs numbers and players and quality, and we need to let go some of the poor players that we do have because there are.
I will take Mateta and Senesi on the free. If you give me Mateta as a free striker, I will take it 2 arms. Give me Mateta. If it doesn't cost me £60 million or £50 million or £40 million even, I'll take Mateta. Thank you very much. Let's have him on the bench if we need a striker up front. Sure, why not? But I don't think we'll be able to get him for a free or for a reasonable amount because it's the Premier League, unfortunately. And I don't think Mateta wants to be a squad player at United.
Now, this is the thing, the problem I'm talking about. Just because Mateta and Senesi,
you're not going to be a squad player because everybody's going to get opportunity to play next season because we're going to be playing 3 games a week for last part of hopefully if we do well in the Champions League and we get through to the knockout, and then we're in the FA Cup, we're in the League Cup. So the thing about this season, we got knocked out in both first time in the history of Manchester United in 100 years history. We got knocked out of we were not in Europe. We got knocked out of the League Cup and the FA Cup first time of asking. I asked a question about the voting about who was your player of the match. Kobe 78%, Cunha 15%. I asked Shaw. Somebody said Shaw had a good game. Bruno 7%. So it looks like overwhelmingly a lot of you have voted for Kobbie Mainoo, who got the winner. What a winner it was. Can we talk about the goals? Can we talk about the Kobe goal now, people? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I wish I had a...
I wish we were. We are 4 likes away from 100. We should really deserve 150 likes. But let's talk about the Kobbie winner.
I had a premonition, guys, that Kobbie was going to score before the game, right? I wish I had put some money on it. Although maybe if I put money on it, it would have jinxed it. But Kobbie scored against Liverpool. I think that's becoming a thing now. He has good performances against Liverpool and he scores good goals against them too. So I had a feeling that he was going to turn up today, and he did. I think Kobbie is becoming, honestly, the sky is the limit for this kid, man. If we and I don't think he could ask for a better midfield partner at this stage of his career than Casemiro. The education that he has gotten in this past year, you can't buy it basically in the market, and I'm just so happy for the kid, man. Excellent performance today, and a great goal to cap it off.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Luani.
When it comes to Kobbie Mainoo, I genuinely believe that the best of him is still yet to come, and we will only see it when we push him a bit forward. Now, what does that do for the system, or what does that do in terms of how he influenced Bruno? I believe he will take the burden of creativity a bit more away from Bruno, because of we have a tendency to over-rely on Bruno to be creative. So if we push Kobbie a bit more forward, and we're playing with 2-8 or 2-10s, we will be able to see the best of Kobbie. But then that means that definitely Casemiro leaving, we need a midfield that can be able to cover ground and at the same time being able to carry the ball, which is not Ugarte. So Baleba is welcome to that point. And that might also involve a little slide in the change of system, because we might also need to drop maybe a left one of our fullback in that midfield when Kobbie and Bruno go forward. But the way forward for us, I believe, is Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes sharing the burden of creativity, because he's dangerous in the box and right at the edge of it.
For sure. I need to show you something, guys. I need to show you. So this is the thing that I've been worried about. Actually, pick up man like Khalees from Medin Lasic, United Real Therapy. I want to just quickly show you this photo. Looking at the two. Let's see if Luani can analyze this for us, but we can have a look. We can all have a look at it together. Pick up everybody, please. We are 39 subscribers away from 15K. I think we've done remarkably well for a channel that's shadow banned, because we refuse to give up on humanity. So the least you could do is like and subscribe to the video, people. Let me just go out a little bit so that we can do this together, people. There we go. There we go. Here, let's have a look. I don't know if you can see well, but they're comparing Michael Carrick to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's the goals. Obviously, we scored more goals with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in terms of toughest opposition. It's Carrick, really. Fast breaks. It's Michael Carrick, because we play counter-attack, more like a counter-attacking game. Passes completed in the final third. Actually, it was Ole. We played a bit more football with Ole. Shots on target. They're very similar. Crosses. Yeah. Carrick a little bit more possession one in the attacking third. He was more Ole, actually.
This is equal, Nuruddin, in terms of all the stats. They're equal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. So these
stats are misleading, though. In my opinion.
To me, it just doesn't look very sustainable to me. And we know where it ended. It ended in tears at the end.
These stats are misleading, right? Because I'm sure if you compare the charts, Ole versus Amorim, you're going to see a different shape. Ole versus Ten Hag, you see a different shape. I think you could say, sure, the fundamentals of the way Carrick and Ole are trying to play football are similar. So they're likely to score high on certain measurements, whereas Ten Hag or Amorim will score high on different measurements like ball retention or runs completed or things like that. So I wouldn't just say, okay, Ole and Carrick had the exact same statistical profile, and so they're exactly the same manager, and it's going to end up the exact same way. I think Ole started his tenure against Leicester, right? Carrick started his against Man City and Arsenal back to back. I don't think you can get a tougher baptism or tougher welcome than that. I also think Carrick is inheriting a better squad than Ole did, and it's a different time, honestly, than it was before. So there's really no good answer to any of these questions. I don't know who we could possibly bring. I don't see Luis Enrique coming to United, and if Luis Enrique comes, I sincerely hope that he can achieve what he's doing at PSG without Vitinha and Nuno Mendes and Dembele and Karashika, what's his name? Kvaratskhelia, right? I hope and Hakimi. I hope he can achieve that same intensity and quality of play with Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes and Sesko and Cunha and Mbeumo and Ahmad and Maguire and De Ligt and the players that we have. Because I don't want somebody who's going to tell me that they need 2 transfer windows and £300 million basically before they can achieve anything, right? Who's going to tell me that they need to take us 2 steps back to take us forward again because they need to get rid of a few players and the squad isn't used to their system? No, I think we have a good thing going. I think we can improve marginally, right? That's the key. So if Carrick happens to be the manager and he's able to replicate what he has achieved this season, but add to it quarterfinal, semi-final FA Cup, and quarterfinal and semi-final Champions League, because I don't expect to win either of those trophies, although I'll take the trophy if you offer it to me, and give me another Champions League qualification again. Now we're stable, right? Because getting to the Champions League once in one season doesn't prove anything. You have to be a stable club, and a stable club is year over year, you're showing up in Champions League positions over and over again. So that's the next phase, basically, for United. That's why I think we can achieve that again without signing 7 players. Because 7 players for me means you want to go and win the league straight up. But if you're telling me that for Carrick or for any manager to achieve Champions League qualification again, you need to sign 7 players, then please, let's stop football now and just close because that's not a reasonable, I think, question or request.
Listen, we played against today. We have to understand that the type of team we played against today and hear the stats. The stats are actually quite shocking. To have only 37% possession at Old Trafford, where Liverpool have got their front 3 out, Ekatike, Salah, and Isaac.
But Nuruddin, can I ask you a question?
Big miss for those 3 players.
But wasn't it made?
And look at the amount of passes they made. Then we have not made. It is honestly, it is shocking. I'm looking at these stats. It's shocking. We had 18 shots, to be fair. We attacked more because we played more on a counter, especially since we scored a lot earlier. 6 shots on target, 5 shots on target. We missed 3 big chances. They missed 1. 2 big chances missed here. But look at the accurate passes. This is worrying to me. We're treating the effing ball like a hot potato. Liverpool almost doubled the amount of passes that we've made, and obviously the accuracy wasn't as accurate, 88% to 79%. But some of it is a bit worrying. I'm not going to lie. Tackles we made more because honestly we were defending more. Interceptions we made, we actually read it better, and Kobbie typified that. I think his scanning was fantastic today. Blocks 6-3. Duels here, 49-40. Ground duels, we won more actually.
We did, yeah.
55. And aerial duels, we won a bit more. But successful dribbles. They dribble better than us. They have more players who dribble better than us. So for me to be at home at Old Trafford, this is what I'm saying to you. It's exactly the same thing. The 2 things that what really impressed against Arsenal and against City was that Manchester United went toe-to-toe with those 2 big teams. Liverpool, who have been horrendous this season, they almost tripled the amount of passes we made in the game, which is, to me, not good enough for Manchester United. That's not good enough. That's just try to win by any means. And I'm a bit like, there's nothing sustainable in terms of how you want to play football and control the games there, fam. And he talked about it. And by the way, I hope Fergie's doing well. He was taken to hospital from the stadium, apparently, before the game. I hope he's feeling better, sending him well, wishing him well, and sending him universal healing energy, obviously. He's getting to that age now. But yeah, apparently he got taken into hospital, and we wish him well. Go ahead, Irfan.
Well, Nuruddin, you see, again, this is the biggest problem, though, because you're not a normal football supporter. I just looked at the the form since 30th of January. You know, the Premier League form. This is what anybody who's like got contrary, because your opinion is contrary to the opinion of most fans that I see, and it all comes down to this. Because if I read something out of, if I just show a quick Premier League form since Carrick took over Man United since 30th of January, he's top, Nuruddin. Of 14 games since he's took over, he's won 10, drawn 2, lost 2, goal difference plus 11, 32 points. The next best is Arsenal, 14, won 14, played 14, won 8, drawn 3, lost 3, goal difference 15, 27 points. So he's got 5 more points than any other manager since he's taken over, Nuruddin. So that's the problem.
But Irfan, other than 3 games, it's Vibes FC. It's Vibes. It's Vibes FC. Other than 3 games, City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa were the 2 teams that we convincingly beat this season. The others, for me, were Vibes FC, and we were on a momentum and confidence and the vibes. And Bruno doing what Bruno's doing, even though he's also costing us games. It's in discipline positionally.
Yeah.
The maddest thing, I saw the interview with Bruno. Bruno said, "I press really well." You're one of the worst pressers, mate. Oh my fucking God. It's not about me complaining, mate. It's called fucking reality check. I'm not getting dominated by fucking Liverpool at home, pal.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. I am never going to say that's fucking good enough or that's a standard for Manchester United when the Liverpool team is shit and had his best 3 players out, their best 3 attackers out, injured. So give it a fucking rest. Go ahead.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So this is why the whole Man United thing is so complex, because people who see people like you who see football deeper than the average fan, you're seeing things before they're happening, Nuruddin. You're already forecasting what's going to happen next year because of what you're seeing. And the thing is, so I come back to you, Nuruddin, says, how come Vibes haven't, Nuruddin, you know Vibes, how long can Vibes last? How long do Vibes last? The last 5
Vibes can last a long time, Irfan. Vibes can last a long time.
Yeah, but Irfan is also, Nuruddin's point, I mean, with all due respect, is also a bit of a strong man, right? I'm looking at all-time head-to-head, Man United versus Liverpool. Total meetings 245. United wins 93. Liverpool wins 82. Draws 71. By definition, it means there have been countless games, many, where Liverpool had a good time at Old Trafford. That's just simply what it means, right? And so today's game, where Liverpool, after having spent $500 million with the transfer window, give us a tough time, shouldn't be cause for anybody to throw out, shouldn't be what you define your judgment of Carrick on. If you tell me that the totality of what you've seen since Carrick has come isn't okay, sure. But is Carrick allowed? Is any United manager allowed to win 3-2 at home to Liverpool? I think the answer is yes. If you ask the majority of United fans, can a United manager be allowed, or is it okay to beat Liverpool at home, to win 3-2 at home to Liverpool? I feel any day, anytime, the answer is always yes, because Liverpool is a good team and they're expected to give us a hard time.
I think in terms of what Nuruddin is saying, he has a point, because it's not just the game that we won in isolation against an arch nemesis. It's also the patterns in terms of how we start the games. We start them with intensity and then we die down. If I remember during Mourinho, when Mourinho first came in, I think we were like 4-0 FC or something like that. But that was based on essentially his approach. We have this ability to defend very strongly, structurally, and then hit teams on the break. And then over the course of 90 minutes, you know that even if we play over 90 minutes, those teams don't have a chance to come back. And that was based on our defensive structure. But when you look at Carrick now and his approach to game, and then we die down, and large portion of that game, we let the other team have the initiative for the of the game, and that's not the way you want your football game to go. Because the outcome can be in the balance at any time. So I understand what they mean by it's a bit worrisome, and in terms of trend, we don't think that this is something that's going to last. Because if every game have to be a basketball game, and then during that 90 minutes, you die down in terms of energy, the other team always have a chance to come back and win that game. And that's what happened today. At 2-2, the only team that was going to win that game today was Liverpool.
Yeah, but Wally, that's not what happened today, now, right? That's not what happened today. What happened today was Ahmad had a brain fart. Like he came on the pitch, but he wasn't really on the pitch. His mind was somewhere else, and so he had I would say, a blue moon ridiculous mistake, right? Same thing goes for Lamens. Lamens literally passed the ball to the opposition. That's not. I mean, people always say, Amorim or Ten Hag coached a victory, but the players fucked up. This one today, this could easily have been one of those days where people say Amorim coached a 3-0, or Ten Hag coached a 3-0, or the manager coached a 3-0, but the players goofed up. That's what happened today. Those were individual mistakes.
I agree with you, right? You say that's what happened today, but look at what happened the game before that, and then the game before that. It was the same scenario. We died down and we allowed the other team to come in. You can take today's game in isolation and say Ahmad made a mistake, and then Lemons made a mistake. But when you look at the game before that, it was literally the same scenario. And if Igor Thiago was not missing goal left and right, the circumstances is what's important. What is the circumstances that led to Brentford creating so much opportunity that we have to count on Igor Thiago to be clinical in order for us to win 2-1. What is the circumstances that create the situation in which when we play against Bournemouth, we were up, and then the game end up in a 2-2.
It's about framing now, right, man? It's about framing. How do you look at things? That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is to simply say this United team has weaknesses, but the United team also has strengths. And more often than not, our strengths supersede the weaknesses, and so we're going to end up winning more games than we lose, right? You could hone in on the weaknesses, and I mean, nobody should freak out when I bring up this example. I'm only just trying to illustrate the points. 1999 Champions League final, that game against Bayern Munich. It wasn't the best game in terms of United's performance. It wasn't a good game at all, in particular. But guess who cares? Nobody, right? Nobody gives a flying fuck because we won the game. And so as long as my framing, I think, holds, which is that the United team has strengths and the United team has weaknesses, but more often than not, our strengths can help cover the weaknesses. And so on average, we're going to win a lot more games than we lose. And the ones where we are weak, I hope we have enough luck to see us through, because luck is also a factor and luck is allowed, right? I don't expect the United team to have the perfect answer to every single opponent that we face, right? Which is to dominate all the time, to be completely in control. And it's worth calling out the weaknesses or the shortcomings, but oftentimes it feels like people are trying to find a permanent solution to football, right? The silver bullet that would mean that you never lose a game again. It's just not possible. I don't see how it happening.
You're right.
But that's a straw man. That is an absolute straw man. Let me just get the super chat. Big up to you, Luani. You can answer back, Luani. No, then everyone agrees that Ineos must be better. It's clear you don't rate Carrick, which is okay, but you never name who's your pick. And I argue clearly they will be better under Ineos. Well, this is what I'm saying to you. How do you want me to argue about any coach when I have zero faith? And the evidence is that these clowns don't have a fucking clue. The fact that a Manchester United football club, knowing that what we need to do, the transfers that we need to make use of, January, they don't sign no players whatsoever in January, tells me everything I need to know about these fucking clowns. who own this football club. So it's not about, for me, I think Iraola is perfect. He plays Manchester United DNA football, risk football, 100 miles an hour football, front foot football. But do I trust the owners to be able to get behind him and get him the necessary kind of firepower or the necessary kind of guys who are going to run and get the coaching staff, get the fitness, get the conditioning type of guys around Iraola? No, I don't. Because one thing has been clear. Majority of coaches that has come to this football club, majority of them have been set up to fail. And that's a fucking fact. Because Manchester United do half-hearted things. Manchester United do things by half pregnant. You can't be fucking half pregnant. If you're going to back a coach, you got to back him. Jose Mourinho was giving youngsters to train when he went to the US and he was complaining. He was like, okay, the first transfer was good. We qualify for the Champions League. I need another 3 signings this season, 4 signings. And they got him who? Fred. And who was the other person they got him? Lee Grant, I think the guy's name, on a free. Who else? That's it. That's what we signed that season. So it's a joke. Go ahead, Luani.
I'm going to Nuruddin. Can I just say, though, because we obviously want to hear all the different opinions. So, obviously, that's your idea with Iraola, yeah?
But no, I said I want Don Carlo, and because Don Carlo, he's got the reputation to be able to call these bunch of absolute clowns out, and he's got the cachet with the fans because he's a serial winner. But we're not going to get Don Carlo because they don't want that type of manager. They want a first-team coach. And probably
we don't want that type of manager either.
They want somebody to get in a cheap.
We don't want the Don Carlo manager either.
Hang on, Sean. Hang on. But wait a second. So no, but what I'm trying to say is that because I'm trying to just work out. So if that's not going to happen in Iraola, yeah, what's the best we can hope for if Carrick's manager? What I'm asking, what's the best we can hope for with Carrick? If Carrick gets a job, what's the best?
I hope. Well, the best I'm hoping for, Manchester United have signed the 6 to 7, 8 players that they need. We've signed 6 players or 7 players this summer, and then find another 2 players in January. And Manchester United need to start signing players in January. We could get maybe 3 on a free this summer.
That's your ideal now. What's the best you hope for?
3 players on a free, fan. We should be able to get at least 3 players on a free. Do we go and buy another 3 or 4? That's what needs to be done. Lot of shit in this football club. Luke Shaw, Irfan, will not be able to play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday. You should not be able to play like that. We know that. Even Maguire, if you look at the last 2-3 seasons, Irfan, the older you get, the more you go per injury. The latest been out majority of the season, second half of the season. It's been out for the past how many months, right? Martinez came back from injury. We're going to get more injuries. I don't know why people don't think about this. When you play more games, you're gonna get into more chances of impact, more chances of pulling a muscle, right? That's what's going to happen. And the next season, you know what they're going to do to me? They go, well, Carrick, he's got no options. Never did. Well, whose fucking fault is that? But that's what they're telling me. They're gaslighting me now. Who do you want to bring? Look at the bench. Look at the bench. There's nothing on the bench. That's what they keep telling me week in, week out. Under this dross football that we're watching. If we want to be real. I'm glad we've beaten Liverpool. It's been a fucking decade. Go and check my tweet before the game. I said Liverpool are here for the taking. They've been crap majority of the season. Not even Forest fucking smashed them 3-0. And they're a relegation fucking fodder. Right? I said we should be able to avenge some of the humiliation results we've had in the last decade. Last decade, we got a chance to beat them twice since the last decade. Twice in a season. To finish higher than them in a decade. So this idea, Irfan, that I'm looking at it now, and it's 30-7% possession. They've passed the ball more. That's sustainable. Liverpool's way of playing is a bit more sustainable. They just need more better midfielders and better defenders next season.
No, Dean, when you say 6 to 7 players, are you talking about starters or squad players, or a mix of both?
No, for me, at least 4 starters need to come into this team. 4 starters need to come into this team. First team. The first 11, 4 starters. Big up to Jarvis. Make sure you check out the breakdown, Tactical Devils. Please go and subscribe to that channel. The standard is the PSG versus Bayern Munich. That level we need to aim if we want to compete with the best. Whether we got the ambition to get there, it's up to Ineos. I'm not so sure. Well, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. For me, I'm telling you now, we're going to be free-falling next season. Exactly the same thing that happened to Newcastle will happen to Manchester United. If Carrick gets, everything goes well, and he gets in a fitness and conditioning team, Manchester United become a front foot attacking football and pressing game. You're going to lose players to injury.
But no, that's a big,
majority of our players don't play this.
Yeah, but
it's not an if. It's not an if,
isn't it? It's a big if. Be honest.
It's a big if, yeah, exactly, because I have no faith in them. But even if the best, you said to me, what can we hope for? Even if that was to happen, we need numbers. We need numbers. He needs to be able to adapt. And you know what he needs to be able to do? Is take players who are tired out, players who are fatigued mentally. It's not even the physical fatigue here, fan. When you're playing 50-something games, and I hope that United play 50 to 60, 65 games, that means it's been a really successful season because we're going to be in it till the last 4 or 5 games in some competitions. Then Manchester United, we need to have a squad. And if you want to play with a type of modern style football that Jarvis is here talking about, right, try to emulate that, we're going to get injuries. We're going to get players on form. You need to be able to have players in your squad. I think we can promote maybe 2 players from the academy. 2 players that I think physically can just do is Shane Lacey and maybe Morehouse if we keep him. Morehouse is 20 years old. He's Irish, quite stocky. He's got both feet. He can play anywhere across the midfield or is sometimes as a number 10 as well. And Lacey, we can bring him on the left-hand side if we need to, or the right-hand side. He can whip a ball and he can get past somebody. He can have a shot on goal. But that could be his breakout season. So those 2 players, you need to sign numbers and quality is needed. People who can run is needed. Whether it's Carrick, whether it's Iriola, whether it's fucking Don Carlo. You need players who can run, who have robustness about them. We don't.
The reason I'm a bit worried about the acquisition is that we have certain profile of players in the team that Carrick is not even using. He's not using Zirkzee. He's not using Sean Lacey. So I'm not too sure if bringing in certain players is going to make a difference if he doesn't fancy them anyway.
If Carrick is able to, we did today.
Well, then there's going to be a burnout FC waiting around the corner. And it's the mental fatigue, the more than the physical one, by the way. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the Carrick that is managing 1 game a week is prioritizing the senior and best players. I think the Carrick that is managing 3 games a week or whatever is going to take a different approach. And it's going to be a learning experience. But like I said, we're not looking to win the Champions League next year. The goal next year is to achieve the same standard that we set this year. That's the first step. 1 time is a fluke. Second time, show me you can do it again. That's what I'm looking for from the team next year. And I think with the squad that we have right now, with a few additions, it's possible to get back in the Champions League again. And you know how I know it's possible? Because other teams have done it.
Okay, people, listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Been hosting a stage. I've lost my voice. I watched about 70 minutes of the game. There's a pub next door to the place. Festival called Weird Sounds from the Other City. Big up to everybody who turned up. Big up to all the activists and the anti-fascists that were there. Love and light, people. Mainoo, thank you so much. We beat Liverpool in a decade twice. It took us a decade to do that. We've held some humiliating results in the past decade. So I'm happy to gloat about that. I gloated about it when I was on the microphone at the festival. And I will keep gloating till the end of the season, till the next time we play them. But that's Liverpool. But I'm really seriously worried for Carrick. And I hope Carrick's intelligent enough that the meetings he's having, he has to be assured that Manchester United need to get numbers, and not even numbers, but quality at that. Big up to everybody who's tuned in tonight. Big up Sean. Make sure you check out Sean at Sean Thomas on X. And make sure you check out his geopolitical podcast, How We See Things. Make sure you check out Luwani, Malawan Luwani 1979. And make sure you check him out on this channel and maybe on the Tactical Devils. Make sure you check out Irfan Rainey on X and Irfan Rainey on Insta for the music and everything else that comes with Irfan and his production and everything else. Releases and his favorite music that he's playing currently. Go and check him out, Irfan Rainey on Insta, and Irfan Rainey on all the political and geopolitical things that are happening around the world on X. Big up to Ben. Make sure you can take Ben out at Elmo39 on X. Love and light, people. F the Glazers, F Ineos. Get in there, Kobbie Mainoo. Good night.
Good night.